Imagine a country with its own flag, its own passport, even its own currency, but no land to stand on, no borders on any map, no recognition from the UN, and yet, at one point, it was accidentally acknowledged by several nations. This isn't fiction. It's the real story of the Republic of Minerva, a country that existed only on paper, yet nearly changed world history. It all began in the early 1970s, a decade obsessed with rebellion, freedom, and utopian dreams. While the world focused on the Cold War, one man dreamed of creating a new world entirely. His name was Michael Oliver, a millionaire real estate developer from Las Vegas. Born in Lithuania and raised in war-torn Europe, he'd seen governments fall and freedoms vanish. He believed the world was broken, and the only solution was to start over. Oliver was part of a growing libertarian movement, people who believed that individuals should be completely free from government control. And in 1971, he made an extraordinary decision to create a new nation from scratch, not through war, not through politics, but by literally building an island. He called it Project Minerva, named after the Roman goddess of wisdom. The plan was as bold as it was absurd. Find a patch of shallow ocean in the South Pacific, dump sand until an island rose above sea level, declare independence, and begin anew. Oliver poured money into research, shipping, and logistics. He gathered a small team of idealists, engineers, and ex-military men. Together, they located a reef about 400 kilometers south of Fiji, a forgotten patch of coral barely visible on maritime charts. The coordinates 23° 39 ES, 178° 55 W, a no-man's zone between Tonga and New Zealand. By 1972, the group arrived aboard a rented vessel named the Ocean Life. They carried barrels of sand and construction materials, and for several weeks they worked tirelessly, raising the coral reef above waterline until it resembled a small artificial island. Then, on January 19, 1972, the world's newest nation was born. They declared independence as the Republic of Minerva. The declaration was formal, typed, signed, and sealed. It stated that Minerva would have no taxes, no regulations, and absolute freedom for its citizens. The national motto, "Live and let live." A flag was hoisted. Light blue background, a golden sun in the center. They even printed Minervan dollars, backed by silver. Oliver and his team sent diplomatic notices to dozens of countries, including the United States, Australia, and New Zealand. They believed recognition was just a matter of paperwork, but the world didn't take it lightly, especially Tonga, a small Pacific kingdom just north of the reef. When Tonga's king Taufa'ahau Tupufofor learned about Minerva's creation, he was furious. He claimed the reef as part of Tongan territory and called Oliver's move an act of colonial arrogance. Within months, Tonga sent a royal expedition, armed with rifles, shovels, and a national flag. They landed on the artificial island, tore down the Minervan banner, and raised Tonga's red and white flag instead. Just like that, the world's newest country was erased. Michael Oliver protested. He appealed to international law, claiming the reef had been terra nullius, belonging to no one, but no nation supported him. The Republic of Minerva disappeared almost as quickly as it appeared. No war, no recognition, just silence. But that wasn't the end. Months later, a strange thing happened. While Tonga was finalizing its claim, two other micronations emerged, inspired by Minerva's idea. The first, the Principality of Sealand, a rusted military platform off the coast of England that declared independence. The second, the Kingdom of North Sudan, founded decades later by a man who claimed land between Egypt and Sudan that neither wanted. Each claimed to be sovereign. Each flew a flag. Each existed, mostly on paper. And yet they all traced their inspiration back to one idea, that if you can't change the world, you can build your own. Oliver himself tried again, funding libertarian communities in the Caribbean and the South Pacific, but each failed. By the 1980s, he faded from public view. But the strange legacy of Minerva didn't end there. In 2005, digital cartographers noticed something strange. On several online maps, a faint outline of the Minerva reefs was labeled not as reef, but as Minerva State. No one knew who added it. The label appeared, vanished, then reappeared months later on satellite maps, this time with faint border lines. Even stranger, several online databases of world flags listed Minerva S Sun banner as active. And a handful of websites even sold Minervan passports for hundreds of dollars. Of course, these were likely scams, but they kept the myth alive. Then came 2011. During a maritime dispute, Tonga and Fiji both claimed jurisdiction over the reef again. Documents leaked during the negotiations included something shocking. Here, a declassified U.S. State Department memo from 1973, referring to Minerva as an autonomous maritime entity. That single phrase, autonomous entity, reignited the debate. Had the U.S. briefly recognized Minerva even by accident? When asked, the State Department denied it, but the memo was real. And then came the strangest twist of all. In 2014, a British digital historian traced an IP address from one of the original Minervan websites. It was registered not in the U.S. or the Pacific, but in Reykjavik, Iceland. He found that someone had re-registered the Republic of Minerva as a digital nation, issuing citizenship NFTs, hosting encrypted forums, and using the slogan, "A free country can never die." Today, thousands of people claim to be citizens of Minerva online, with ID cards, digital passports, and a government in exile operating entirely in the cloud. No land, no sea, no borders, just a digital dream of freedom that refuses to vanish. So the question remains, if a nation's land is gone, but its people still believe, does it truly cease to exist? And if lines on a map can be drawn, erased, and redrawn again, how real are any of our countries really? Maybe the Republic of Minerva never disappeared at all. Maybe it just changed shape, from sand and water to data and code. A paper country reborn in the digital age, a forgotten nation that still waves its flag in cyberspace. And perhaps that's the haunting truth behind this mystery. A country doesn't need borders to exist, only believers.